when you're spending time with people who are similar to Cody, it doesn't matter how much you sacrifice, you give, or you donate to them, or how committed you are to them. None of that matters, because you are only valuable as long as you're useful. Let's get it. Recently, Mykelti is one of the brown kids who decided to capitalize on their parents' fame and fortune and reality show by coming out with her own Patreon and telling her side of the story, reviewing some of the episodes as they air and giving her perspective as an insider. And from my understanding, her and Tony are doing very well. Gwendolyn, she's doing well. Peyton, he's doing it as also. So there's some of the brown kids that are putting a little different flavor into it. Of all the kids, though, Mykelti is the one child who Cody even admittedly says has been consistently trying to reach out to both him and Robin, and has been bending over backwards to try to include them and make Cody and Robin and her kids and their kids feel like they're still one big family. We watched this in season 17, where Mykelti had went out to her mom and insisted that she do this big farewell meeting where everybody comes out to the mom's house, Cody, Robin, the kids, and they all stand there and say bye to Christine. And, you know, this is important for you guys. It'll feel great once this happens. And it turns into a whole sad situation. And Mykelti got a lot of heat from the fans for doing that and suggesting it. Later on, when Mykelti was going out to the house and talking to Robin and Cody and having those meetings and being filmed in doing so, her and Tony, she caught a lot of heat for that. Went later, even in this season 18, revealing that she had contacted Robin and shared with Robin that she was having twins before she even told her mom that she was having twins. And you can see in Christine's face that hurt her, but that's something that Mykelti had decided to do, and it was completely Mykelti's right to make that decision. But the thing that I wanted to express in this, and the thing that I've noticed in my observation, is that the trouble I have is that when you are in a situation like Mykelti and you're dealing with somebody who is like Cody, a lot of people will throw out the term narcissist. I don't disagree with that he displays some narcissistic tendencies, as I understand it. I wouldn't disagree that he has certain issues, both he and Robin. But at the end of the day, the biggest problem that they have is you can classify it into very simple terms of saying that they are selfish, and in the most rudimentary sense, or the most common phrase, you could say they're assholes. And either way, when push comes down to shove, when you're dealing with somebody like that you trying to bend, mold, and shape yourself to this person and conform yourself to this person's acceptance, I'm telling you now that no matter how flexible you are, no matter how you contort yourself or bend yourself up, you will never fit enough, be able to make yourself flexible enough to be acceptable to them. There will always be one thing that you didn't do, one thing that you could be doing. And this is a sad situation because it puts you on a hamster wheel where you're running and running and running, and no matter how fast you run, how hard you run, or how committed you are, now let's get it. Now, like I said, I wanted to use a receipt that I have of what happened during the tell-all to talk about specifically how Cody feels about seeing his daughter defending her mom.
The biggest reason I'm addicted is because it's a self-esteem hit. Honestly, it's been hard to get over that.
But when did you know that?
Gorgeous.
That scene bothers me because she's right there asking for my children to side with her against me. I mean, nobody else sees it. Maybe I'm just delusional. But once again, I got a problem with her kind of setting my kids against me in order to gain favor with her. And that's what I see happening there.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Exactly. What are you talking about, man? What you saying doesn't make any sense. Because when rubber meets the road, when you say that Christine is pulling my daughter in to go against me, what are you for? Because when you say that she's rivaling you and she's against you, what are you for? What are you in for? What are you in favor of? It doesn't make sense because it's not like she sat there and said, yeah, you're right, because dad is a dummy. Dad is an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with him. She just merely said, Mom, you're gorgeous. Mom, you're beautiful. Because she could recognize that her mother was hurt. Her mother is insecure. Her mother is afraid to take that step to find her happiness. So when Cody says, she's stepping out against me, she's recruiting them to go against me, what he is for is Christine feeling alone, Christine being depressed, Christine feeling like she is isolated, Christine feeling the true power of the shunning that Cody is trying to impose on her. He's trying to disconnect Christine from the rest of the family and the people that she knows so that she can recognize the mistake that she made in leaving him. Because after all, the relationship isn't over until he says it's over. Everything revolves around him and his perspective. There is no partnership in that relationship or in that marriage. It's all about what serves his needs and what meets his convenience. And as I watch that, it really is indicative of how little regard he actually has for his children. Because according to Cody, or at least from my interpretation and my observation of this particular scene, when he talks about Mykelti, what he's actually saying is, it's not that he cares so much about Mykelti and I can't believe she betrayed me. I am using Mykelti as a tool to punish her mother. And because she's not doing what I'm expecting her to do, which is essentially to say, Mom, you are ugly. Dad is right. You are not that attractive. When he said that you're not that pretty, he's right. When he said that you're quirky and you have your behavior, because of your behavior, that you won't be able to find anybody else, he's right. When he said that he was actually doing you a favor by spending time with you, and that, all those things in conjunction with any, litany of abusive tactics that he used, or names that he called her, or feelings that he tried to give her, where he tried to make her feel insecure. What she should have been doing, in Cody's perspective, is that she should have been sitting there reinforcing all those negative images that Cody was trying to push on to Christine so that she would come back to him. This whole purpose that he's so angry about, the reason why he's so mad and so disjointed, is because what should have happened in his calculation, I'm sure, is that Christine's exit from the Brown family should have been the exact same exit that Mary had. The false start that Mary had. The failure to launch that Mary had. When Mary left the Brown family, she left the Brown family for the catfisher. Turns out, the catfisher wasn't real. So now, instead of Mary going on and living her best life with this new man and this new happiness, she felt dejected. She felt like she failed. She felt like a fool. So she came on back. She came back to the Brown family. She came back to Cody. And that, by her coming back, that gave Cody the ability to treat her any old kind of way. He could say whatever he want. And anytime she tried to resist him, he could hit her with the, well, you tried to leave me for the catfisher. So therefore, I don't have to come around and spend time with you. You have to prove yourself worthy. You have to reestablish yourself within the family in order for me to feel like I have to spend any time with you. And he had that ability. Now, when Christine left, because, and this is one of the ideal things that I've always kind of pushed, you never leave somebody for somebody, you leave somebody because you don't want to be there anymore. When Christine leaves, now all of a sudden, it doesn't matter. Like, she's not relying on somebody else to make her happy. And if that relationship doesn't work, she has to come back. She left because she didn't want to be there anymore. She realized she could do it by herself. And thank goodness she had things set up in a way that she could leave and be able to take care of herself. And she didn't have to come back. But Cody is missing the fact that she should be coming back. When he told them that you guys don't have to stick around, you guys can leave anytime you want to. Here's the door. You can go if you don't want to follow me. If you don't want to ascribe to my patriarchy and my leadership, and you don't want to be subservient, you can get out. What he wasn't expecting was any of them to get up and walk through the door. And when Mykelti is reinforcing her mother, when she's encouraging her mother to get out there and be positive and be independent and try to seek her happiness elsewhere, that's the betrayal that Kody is talking about. Now let's listen to the second part where Kody is going to come in and he's going to take the position that Mykelti is somehow joining Christine in her actions against him.
Mykelti, in order to have favor with Christine, is siding against me on this whole story. Mykelti said, yes, I mean, she's joining Christine in the criticism of me because I didn't love her. I was attached to her, and in the eyes of my children, I was there and I was with her. She told them that I wasn't. What she did was wrong.
What? What the fuck? Stop it. Get some help.
Now, the first time I saw it, I was more like the first guy, but now I'm trying to be more like MJ. Get some help. Because if you listen to what he said, I didn't love her. I didn't love her. And he wants to keep pushing that narrative that he never cared about her, he never loved her, he never wanted her, etc., etc., etc. I never loved her, but I was always there. And he's twisting it around to say that Christine isn't fooling them because she's revealing that he never loved her. He's upset because Christine is telling him that he was never around. I was always there. And now she's trying to tell him that I wasn't there, and they're being convinced by that. But the whole point of her saying, Mykelti saying that you're pretty, hey mom, you're attractive, hey mom, you're worthwhile, that's not her saying, yeah, dad was never around, so screw him. The problem that Kody has is the fact that if you were never around, you could lie to us. You could lie to the viewer because I have my suspicions of whether you showed up or not. I can take into account the way people act, the way people are interacting with you, how they move around you, the things that they say, the testimony that they give. I can make my own assumptions or I can put things together from there. But if you ask me point blank, do I know for sure? No, I don't, because I wasn't there. The problem that Kody has is he's trying to convince people who were there. You're trying to tell people, you're trying to tell Isabel, you're trying to tell Truly that I was coming over every day, remember? And they look at you and say, Dad, I saw you twice in 2 years. What are you talking about? You weren't coming around. The second time you came around, you brought Solomon with you when we went to go kayaking. You brought Solomon with you and you didn't even get in the water with us. So you came out to spend time with us, but you didn't even participate in the thing that we were talking about doing. And this was revealed back in season 17. When you look at somebody like Mykelti, who is trying to be on your side, who is trying to build a bridge to you, but he keeps slapping them down. And that's one of the things that, bothers me about this entire situation. In my observation, when you're spending time with people who are similar to Kody, it doesn't matter how much you sacrifice, you give, or you donate to them, or how committed you are to them. None of that matters. Because you are only valuable as long as you're useful. The minute you stop being useful to them, you get cut off. Then they start labeling you as betraying them, disloyal, you're not trying, you're not contributing enough, you're not sacrificing enough. They start to question your commitment to them. And that's all problematic. Because what it does is it's twofold. One, it starts to call into question your character, off rip. But two, it starts to affect your self-esteem. Because in Mykelti's case, it starts to affect her self-worth. Do you know how hard it is for a child to hear from her parent that her parent doesn't like her or doesn't want her around? No matter how committed she is to him, no matter how much she gives to him, no matter how much she sacrifices, it's never enough. and you're constantly told as a child that you're not good enough to spend time with me. You're not good enough to spend time with the people that I love, which would be my wife, Robin, my kids, Solomon, Ari, Dayton, Aurora, Brianna. You're not good enough to spend that time with us because you haven't done the things necessary to prove yourself to me. That is incredibly damaging for a child. And I sympathize with Mykelti's situation. Let me know what you guys think down below. This is my take, and I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.
PCH